set to start the first game of a three-game series between the Braves and the Marlins. Some kids are going to get the Marlins out onto the field tonight, and Sandy Alcantara will lead the club out to battle as well as the Marlins kickstart the second half of this homestand. They just swept the Chicago Cubs, and they're looking to keep things rolling. Winners of 4 in a row as Sandy Alcantara toes the slab. He makes his 6th start of the season. Marlins, unfortunately, though, just 1-4 in his starts, mainly due to the run support. He's only had 5 runs of support, 4 of which came last time out. Now, he also comes in with a 5.04 ERA, Tommy, so he's got to tighten some things up here in May. Absolutely, no need to panic. I was just looking last year in his Cy Young Award year after 6 starts, and tonight is his 6th start. He was 2-2 with an ERA in the 3s. A win tonight for him and a good outing. He can get the ERA back in the 3s, and he'll be 2-2. Absolutely. So no need to panic. All right, let's take a look at his pitch arsenal, the way that he utilized it the last time out. StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud. Yeah, I think a lot of times you see pitches up, too many of those 4-seamers up. Sometimes you get away with that if it's located in the right spot. But looking at his numbers, they're very similar to last year as far as velocity. No problem with that. It's all been mechanical. Sometimes the body gets a little bit ahead of the arm drags, and pitches then go up a little bit. All right, let's take a look at the lineup that he is going to face, and it is brought to you by Ocean Bank. Ronald Acuna Jr., a little scare yesterday in the second game of the doubleheader, but he is back in the lineup for Brian Snitker. Matt Olson, Austin Riley after him. Sean Murphy off to a terrific start in his first year in Atlanta. Rosario Albies Harris II is back. We didn't see him last week. Ozuna and Grissom round out the order. Check in on the defense tonight for the Marlins behind Sandy. There's Jazz in center field getting more comfortable. De La Cruz and Jesus Sanchez flanking him around the infield from third to first. You got Segura, Birdie, Arise, and Gurriel in the lineup tonight. Behind the plate, of course, Jacob Stallings. Sandy ready to roll against Ronald Acuna Jr. And the first pitch tonight is grounded into the Marlins dugout, foul. Guy swings at more first pitches, I think, than anybody in the major leagues. He is ready to hack. 363, an OPS over 1,000 with 5 home runs on the year. 0-1 pitch from Sandy is in the dirt. Mentioned earlier the scare yesterday. The Braves ended up playing a doubleheader. They only got 3 of the 4 games in New York. Played a double dip in the dirt. Mentioned earlier the scare yesterday. The Braves ended up playing a doubleheader. They only got 3 of the 4 games in New York. Played a double dip yesterday, and Acuna Jr. was hit in the shoulder. X-rays negative, more scans, all look good. So traveled with the club, obviously, and is in the lineup today. Smacks this one out towards center field, a long run, and Jazz going to have to play this one on a hop. No surprise there. Few are better in the first inning than Ronald Acuna Jr. a leadoff double. Yeah, and pitches out over the plate to Acuna Jr. He is going to hit. There's a fastball up and out over the plate. That's been the problem early on for Sandy so far this year, and Acuna attacks it. And right then, you're just glad he only gets a 2-base hit and didn't hit it out. An on-base streak of 21 games now for Ronald Acuna Jr. and the 19th game this year that he has been on base one way or the other in the first inning. Instant offense. Here's Matt Olson. Up and in on the hands. A ball to no strikes to the Braves first baseman. Boy, the one thing the Braves have, and we've talked about it over the last couple of years, they've got guys who play all the time, and first 4 or 5 guys in their lineup played both games of that doubleheader in New York. Guys that have played all 30 games for Brian Snitker: Acuna Jr., Olson, Riley, Albies. Two balls and no strikes from Sandy to Olson, and that one grounded foul. This is a guy, if you want to say you feel comfortable against a hitter who hits over 30 home runs every year. Matt Olson against Sandy Alcantara is 0 for 13 with 4 strikeouts. Two balls and a strike with Acuna Jr. leading off second. And that one misses up high. Yeah, you got to keep your eye on Acuna. You don't want to pay
too much attention and lose sight of Olson, but Acuna has 13 stolen bases. He leads the league.
And not opposed to trying to swipe third either. 3-1 pitch is a cut and a miss. That one at 97, top of the zone.
Now, a guy like Olson, you can pitch him up and get away. He's a good low ball hitter.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Is fouled back, and Olson's a guy who will strike out 45, tops in Major League Baseball. You'd like to see, I mean, they're a little bloated, the numbers there, but runners in scoring position, a 29 ERA. But these are spots where Sandy certainly wants to buckle down as the season progresses into its 2nd month now. Another foul ball back to the netting.
I think the good news about his outing in Atlanta is that it came after he missed a few days with just a slight forearm issue, and he came out of that fine, and he threw the ball well, velocity wise.
Velo looks good in the high 90s today. 3-2 pitch coming, and again Olson gets a piece.
He's fouled off fastballs. He fouled off a slider right there.
Olson was 3 for 14, a double, a homer, a couple of RBIs last week when these two teams met in Atlanta. Braves took 3 out of 4. 9th pitch of the at-bat is the last one of the at-bat. First strikeout for Sandy, and it's the heater, 1 away.
Again, no problem with velocity and no problem keeping it up to Olson. 99 upstairs by him.
Austin Riley to the plate. Grounds 1 to Segura. Looks Acuna back and gets the out. Well, a nice bounce back AB right there.
Well, you love to see that after all the pitches he threw to Olson to get Riley on 1 pitch.
I know it's not as simple as I'm about to make it sound, but it's almost like battle, battle, battle with Olson. Then it's like, all right, fine, just ground out. You know, that's how it feels. I know that's not how it actually is. Here's Sean Murphy. Mentioned the great start for him, leading all qualified catchers with those 8 home runs.
I guess in that situation with Murphy and Riley, you had 2 hitters who have struggled against Sandy. We mentioned Murphy 0 for 14 now. Riley now 3 for 24 against Sandy.
0-1 to Murphy. He's 0 for 3 against Alcantara, and now down 0-2 in this at-bat. Sandy's Beach alive and well tonight. Oh, 2 coming. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Sandy gives up the leadoff double, but then gets the next 3 and strands the runner. Marlins come to bat next. 4 straight. Trying to start this series off on the right foot. Ocean Bank presents the Marlins batting order. Jazz leads it off in center field. Solaire's the DH. Yuli Gurriel gets to start at first. Arise at second. De La Cruz at left. Sanchez in right. Segura, Stallings, and Birdie to round out the order. For the Atlanta Braves, they turn to Bryce Elder. A rematch from last Wednesday night. 6th start of the season, 2nd straight against Miami. And Jazz fouls the first pitch off left side. 0-1.
Yeah, Elder's not going to waste too much time. He usually throws strikes. He's not overpowering. Good numbers. You see the ERA at 2.17. Slider, he'll cut it. He'll sink it.
Jazz, one of his 5 home runs came against Elder in that start in Atlanta. 3 home runs allowed, the only 3 that he has surrendered. Braves are 4-1 in Elder's starts this year. 1-2 to Sandy on a couple of hops to a well-positioned Austin Riley, right around that shortstop position, about as shifted as you can get for the first out.
Good job, though, on the swing by Jazz Chisholm. There's the scouting report on Bryce Elber. High school, he was actually a better golfer than he was a pitcher. He won the Phil Niekro Award as a top minor leaguer, and he's been a very durable pitcher coming up in the Braves system. The Nuxie Award.
Boy, anything to get golf in the show for you, huh?
Yeah. Well, I was reading a little bit about him, and he was really focused on golf, and then all of a sudden baseball came into play.
Braves pitchers are known to be pretty good at golf, so that works.
Yeah, he probably has had conversations with Smoltz and Glavine, maybe Maddox if he's around.
Quickly 0-2 on Soler. That one taken down. Soler struggling a little bit. 1 for 12, 3 strikeouts in the series against the Cubs over the weekend. And down on strikes to begin his night tonight. 2 away.
Let's see how the defense looks for the Braves tonight. You have Michael Harris, the second back. He's in center. Rosario and Acuna filling out the outfield. Riley, Grissom, Albies, and Olsen. Not too many changes do the Braves make, and Murphy behind the plate.
There's a strike to Yuli Gurriel. Gets the start in that 3 spot in the order over at first base. Garrett Cooper left yesterday's game, or excuse me, Sunday's game. A little stomach issue, so still out tonight.
Paul, I would venture to say that the Braves have, in all of baseball, one of the more set lineups, especially in this day and age, when you have so many versatile guys in and out of lineups. But Brian Snitker, when he pencils in that lineup, a lot of the same names every night.
Yeah, and it might be the same every day, every week, every month, and every year for the next few years, actually, with a lot of these guys. Seems like just about everybody locked up for at least the next 3 or 4 years. 1-2 pitch to Gurriel is in the dirt. Hot start for Gurriel. 15 hits in 14 games. OPS over 800. Of course, plays a really good defensive first base as well, so certainly not missing much when you don't have the quote-unquote everyday guy Cooper in there. Foul back. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Gurriel recovering a little bit. He was hit by a pitch.
Right.
So he's okay, though. And I think Coop's available tonight.
Three-two pitch. Oh, picked over there at third base by Riley. Took a hit away from Gurriel and gets us to the top of the second.
What you do as a third baseman on a play like that, you just get down, reach out, and hope it finds your glove.
Got on him in a hurry. Eddie Rosario leading things off for Atlanta here in the second. Fouls it back. Rosario, Albies, and Michael Harris the second. Against Sandy Alcantara, a couple of first inning strikeouts after the leadoff double.
Boy, he has shown live fastballs, and he threw 3 of the best changeups you're ever going to see to strike out Sean Murphy on 3 pitches.
Ahead 0-2. Just flips the bat out there and pops it foul. I feel like we've seen it a little bit more this year than last year. Remember, Sandy would come out, he'd be 93, 94 in the middle innings. He'd get up to 95, 96. And then by the 7th or 8th, it'd get up to the 99 mark. Jazz closes in on it and makes the catch out in center field. But it seems like Sandy's coming out of the gate 98, 99 now.
Yeah, he's still able to maintain. And by the way, he'll maintain nicely with plays like this. Good jump. See the jump by Jazz? Directly to the ball. That's called a good route. And then puts it away.
One away for Ozzie Albies, switch hitting second baseman for Atlanta. Fouls that one away, and it's 0-1. Earlier today, John Jay working with Jazz.
We could see that every day.
Yeah. Getting those jumps, working the wall.
Getting a feel for the warning track, too. is when you're looking at the ball, you have to feel the warning track. John Jay, a very good outfielder in his career. Nice career for John.
1 ball and 1 strike. Albies drive out to right field. Albies connects on a home run. That's his 3rd against the Marlins this year, and it's 1-0 Atlanta.
He's had a pretty good career against Sandy Alcantara. That's his 10th hit against Sandy. First home run. But did that with ease. Again, a pitch up. You see Jacob Stalling reaching. And right into the wheelhouse of Ozzie Albies.
So with that, Sandy has now given up a home run in 4 consecutive starts.
Has that high leg kick, but keeps his balance, stays back.
Last year's Rookie of the Year, Michael Harris II, takes outside. Albies gets the scoring started with that home run to right field. His 8th on the year. .2-0 from Sandy. Gets the benefit of a wide zone there. So Harris was out, actually started his rehab at one point in that 4-game series last week. But it's been back for a few days. Pops this one up near 3rd for Segura. Fair territory. That's out number 2. The Miami Marlins Foundation 50-50 raffle is now online and in the ballpark. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Miami Marlins Foundation programs, and the other half of the proceeds have gone to lucky participants, and you could be next. The raffle ends at the end of the 7th inning. To purchase and for official rules, log on to marlins.com/raffle. Ozuna takes inside for ball 1. Marcel, the DH tonight for Atlanta.
Well, Ozuna just happy to get out of Atlanta with the Boo Birds on him the way they've been. And you know what? When you're hitting 085, things like that happen.
Sandy's 2-0 pitch. Cut on and missed. That the changeup from Alcantara.
Tried it again, but sometimes you hang on to it a little bit too long. You get that bounce pitch.
Ozuna 7 for 15. Lifetime against the guy that he was once traded for. 3-1 pitch. He's lined into center field, and those numbers only get better. Now 8 for 16 with the 2-out base hit.
Well, we've seen Sandy a little bit falling behind. And as he did to Ozuna. Again, a lot of it's about location. When he makes his pitch, as he did to Harris, get the easy pop fly, that pitch out over the plate, and Ozuna with the line drive base hit.
Vaughn Grissom swings and misses at a first pitch slider. Grissom gets the start at short tonight. Was 2 for 6 in the series against the Mets. But blocked by Stallings to keep Ozuna at first base. Again, it was supposed to be a 4-game series, a 4-game showdown, as it were, at Citi Field over the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a Monday wraparound. Instead, they played 5 innings Friday. It was an official game. The Braves won. Rained out Saturday, Sunday, doubleheader yesterday that the Braves and Mets ended up splitting.
And wouldn't you know it, the Mets are in Detroit now for their series in a rain delay.
Yeah. Thank goodness for the roof. Ball and 2 strikes. Swift foul.
little different with the count 1-2. Sandy's able to make a pitch to try to put away Grissom.
One, two again. Blocked by Stallings again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Braves running up the pitch count for Alcantara here, getting close to 40. 21 in this inning. Albies a home run, Ozuna a single. He's on at first. A 2-2 to Grissom. We'll do it again. At the top of the order, Acuna Jr. waiting on deck.
That's why you'd kind of like to retire Grissom right here.
Again, the 2-2 pitch. And that'll give Ozuna a head start at first. There goes the runner, and that's a hit by pitch or a swing. Let's see, they check down at first, they say no swing, and Grissom shakes out the left hand. That's first base umpire Charlie Ramos on that call, and looks like Skip Schumacher may want to take a quick peek. Actually declined that. Ooh. They've gotten the pinky pinned up into the knob of the bat too.
Well, we expected, I thought, a visit from Mel Stottlemyre Jr., and he's headed out there now to talk with Sandy. I'm sure a couple of things. Number one, to allow him a little breather because he's gotten that pitch count up. Number two, maybe to talk about some mechanical issues because pitches are up a little bit. Number three, you got this guy Acuna. You've got to make pitches to him.
It's a lot to cover in 30 seconds. But when we came on the air, we told you this is a big series for the Marlins, and they were playing good baseball going into Atlanta, ended up dropping the first 3 of that series. Now they've won 4 straight, and here come the Braves again. Even though there's only 13 matchups on the schedule, over the years it feels like whenever the Marlins are just about ready to go on a lengthy run or try to get over a hump, whatever it might be, the Braves show up somehow, some way. Big pitches for Sandy in the second inning. Needs to limit the damage to the 1 run. First pitch is in the dirt.
Well, we talked about it since 2018. The Marlins just 28-65 against Atlanta.
First inning double for Acuna Jr. Waits on a 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes.
This is one of those situations you hate to do it. You hate to load the bases, but he's had much better success against Olsen than against Acuna.
A 27-pitch inning to this point, and it's 3-0 on Acuna Jr.
You know, he was taken all the way there, but I'm surprised. I'm surprised. He might have had the green light and just himself decided to take a pitch.
Still a hitter's count. 2 on, 2 out. Sandy deals.
Good changeup. Changeup and a fastball swing.
Three and 2, the runners on the move. And Acuna gets a piece up. Sandy had the 10 days in between starts going into that outing against the Braves, and that's why when he ran into a little bit of trouble, Skip Schumacher took him out after 5 2/3. But Braves running that pitch count up, approaching 50 here in the second inning. Throw to second, kind of handcuffed Arise. On 3 2 and 2 outs, maybe you take your shot at the base runners automatically moving, maybe first movement.
They may go not thinking that you're going to turn and throw.
Here it comes, and we'll do it again.
There's what he's thrown to Acuna. Went change up, 99, then change up again.
And he strikes him out on the changeup. Sandy had to battle in the inning. Did give up a run, but stranded 2 more. 1-0. South Florida, Paul Severino, Tommy Hutton, Kelly Sacco, the rest of our Valley Sports crew. First of 3. First meeting between these two teams here at Lone Depot Park. 0-1. Bryce Elder to Luis Arise. You can set your watches to it, kids. Another base hit for Arise.
Just like clockwork. Established a Marlins record for the highest batting average in the month of April. And I mean, Luis doesn't even know that it's May. He just get another base hit.
Well, he's got the whole month in front of him, but the batting average is well over 400. The last hitter to have a batting average over 400 at the end of May was a Brave. It was Chipper Jones. Hit .413 in 2008.
Bet a lot of those were against the Marlins too.
But at least he didn't name his kid Sun Life Dolphin Stadium, whatever. The way that he named his kid Shea.
Shea.
For those who don't know. A strike at the top of the zone to Brian De La Cruz, patrolling left tonight for Skip Schumacher.
That's the guy the Marlins need to get back on track. Watched him during batting practice, and he was really making an effort, working on driving the ball the other way.
Had that big doubleheader against Cleveland, 5 extra base hits, but since then 1 for 24, a walk, and 14 strikeouts. And speaking of batting practice, we are really looking forward to this. Hyundai presents the Marlins Live pregame show. At 6 o'clock, we'll have some bits and pieces from our Wired Wednesday, where we talk with Marlins hitting coach Brant Brown. So it'll be kind of a long-form conversation, but we'll listen into whatever he has to say to some of his hitters, as De La Cruz is down on strikes. First out in the second inning.
Yeah, that's the area that's really been a problem for De La Cruz over that 1 for 25 now span, 15 strikeouts. The strikeouts weren't there as much when he had that nice run.
Stream Miami Marlins baseball live on the Valley Sports app, presented by T-Mobile. Here is Jesus Sanchez. Sanchez the start in right tonight.
Boy, it's been fun watching him over the last week or so. 6 for his last 16, a number of those hits the other way and driving the ball the other way.
Takes a strike there. So in a sense, exchanging some of that offense that De La Cruz, while he kind of goes through it right now, picking up some of that slack for Sanchez. And might be asked to do more of that with Avi Garcia on the IL. That one fouled back, 1-2. So that is Xavier Edwards. Recalled from AAA Jacksonville, where he was putting together a really good start to the season. 306 average, 427 on base, 7 stolen bases. One of the Marlins' top prospects, an acquisition in the offseason. Originally drafted by the Padres, then traded to the Rays, and then here. But out of North Broward Prep in Coconut Creek.
You know, it's good news, bad news. You hate to see Avi go on the IL, but great to see someone getting called up who's having some success, which Xavier Edwards was.
So he'll play probably a little second base, a little center field. We'll see how it all shakes out as they check on Arise at first.
Of course, Jesus Sanchez took Bryce Elder deep in Atlanta.
Ball and 2 strikes. Grounded into the Braves dugout.
You know, it's been a pretty good matchup for Jesus. He's in his young career played 28 games against the Braves, and he's homered 6 times.
And they have a pretty good pitching staff. And they say that he went around. It'll be back-to-back strikeouts for Elder.
And Elder on both those strikeouts getting 2 young hitters, De La Cruz and Sanchez, to chase pitches well out of the zone.
I just need to know, did you do that on purpose? Elder, young hitters, you do it on purpose or no?
No, I did not.
Should have taken credit for it.
I did not.
Come on. You're supposed to be a pro up here. Here's Gene Segura. Ball to no strikes on Gene.
Now we have Elder pitching against an Elder statesman, Gene Segura.
That's right. And hopefully Segura can stay on track. Of course, last time we were with you on Friday night, he had that walk-off hit. Overall, 2 for 11, a walk and 3 strikeouts in that series against the Cubs. 2 balls and a strike here.
Yeah, a lot of sliders tonight from Elder. That's what he likes to do. That 2-seamer, he runs it inside, not overpowering. 90-91, and then moves the slider away to right-handed hitters. Little 2-seamer came back, got a lot of the plate.
So now 3 balls and 2 strikes, and that will release Arise from first base. There goes the runner, and that pitch is grounded to first base for Olson, who steps on the bag, and the inning is over. Marlins leave that lead an inning. Fortunately, though, only the 1 run. Did strand a couple when he struck out Ronald Acuna Jr. It'll be Matt Olson, Austin Riley, and Sean Murphy. Sandy rocks and fires.
Now, I believe 9 of those pitches were to this guy, Matt Olson, who eventually struck out.
Eight home runs for Olson on the year, leading qualified first baseman in extra base hits. Takes a strike. .50 pitches so far for Sandy. And number 51 on the way. Up the middle, a base hit for Olson. A rematch from that rain-affected game on Thursday afternoon tomorrow. Coverage starts at 6. Kyle Wright, Braxton Garrett.
Yeah, 2 guys who were both pitching well.
Yeah. Austin Riley takes a strike. Riley a ground out to third base, his first time up. Tries that inside corner again. It's 0-2.
A little overthrow that time.
Our Toyota trend, Braves this season first in barrels, first in average exit velocity, and hard hit balls about 45% of the time. That's through for a base hit. Not as sharply hit as maybe we were trying to sell you, but still a hit nonetheless, and the first two are on for Atlanta.
Yeah, the changeup got in on him. He didn't really get fully extended and didn't get the barrel of the bat on it, but still found that hole on the left side. And now Sandy's got to work again. And we told you it's been a struggle for Riley. That's only his fourth hit. 4 for 25 now against Sandy Alcantara. And that was Olson's first hit off Sandy.
Now Murphy, who is 0 for 4 after a first inning strikeout, comes up empty there, and it's 0-1. I'm amazed here. I'm trying to find confirmation, even though I trust the number I'm looking at. That one got a piece of Murphy, and now the bases will be loaded with nobody out. This will be a perfect time for what I'm about to get into. Is Sandy has been at the top of the list the last few years when it comes to double play balls and helping him get out of innings. One pitch, you get 2 outs. You know how double plays work. He's had 1 this year.
A lot of that is location. You make a good pitch, that starts a double play. And you can see tonight, no walks tonight, but he has 2 hit batters. Location has not been there tonight for Sandy.
Now Eddie Rosario. Ask and you shall receive. Chalk one up for the Jinx Police. A run does score, but it's a double play ball.
I bow to you right now. You called the double play, brought it up.
Throw it out into the atmosphere.
4-6-3.
That's right.
That's a situation you're certainly going to give up the run to get 2 outs. It's early enough in the game. Luis Arraez summed that all up, and a good turn by Arraez and birdie.
But Riley moves to third, and Albies, who homered earlier, grounds one to second base. Nice little roll over, and when it's all said and done, he gets out of it, and rather quickly. 2-0. It's 2 pitches, and he's out of it. Double play and then the ground out.
He's going to have a couple more of those innings, low pitch innings, to extend his time out there on the mound.
I always love the updates on the Social Tuesdays for Jacob Stallings, who briefly thought about downloading apps in the offseason. Didn't waste too much time on it. And Jacob heard that we do this and have a little bit of fun with that and thought it was pretty good. Bounces that one toward Riley, and that's the first out of the inning. Let's head downstairs, check in with Kelly Sacco.
Hey guys, on this Social Tuesday, we're talking about all the South Florida sports doing big things. How about the Panthers and the Heat for the first time in pro sports history? That one city had multiple 8 seeds upset the 1 seeds in the same season. Panthers playing the Maple Leafs right now. Game 1. Heat are going to face the Knicks, but got some bad news, guys. Jimmy Butler ruled out with that ankle injury that he dealt with at the end of Game 1.
All right, and Nick Cousins has a goal for the Panthers, so they've got a 1-0 lead in Toronto. That one, a diving play by Riley, and Olson couldn't dig it out. We'll see how they score that one. Kind of that 2-part play scenario, but Birdie's speed turning up the heat.
Yeah, I factor that in. If I'm keeping score, I factor the base runner because he's flying up. So Riley knows that. Great play there, but now he knows he's got to get up, rush, and fire. Going to be bang bang even if the throw's on line. I say base hit.
I wrote down hit, but I do know that there are times that the official score, even though there was a diving play involved, if the fielder gets to their feet and can make a good, accurate throw and still spikes it, sometimes it's an error. But that's not our job. But and it's a hit.
It's a hit.
So there's that.
Nice going. We were both right then.
Yes. So Birdie is aboard. Marlins down 2-0 here, last of the third. Jazz at the plate, 0-1.
You know whose side I'm always going to be on. I know how hard it is to get a hit.
And we can petition around booths in baseball to see. I bet you Nelly thought error. Round out to Riley back in the first inning. Oh, low strike. Home plate umpire Lance Barrett.
Jazz using his timeout wisely right there.
One, two from Elder.
See what happens? It makes you swing at that. And you shake your head and okay, the umpire goes, yeah, well, you swung at that, was out of the zone. Well, you know what? You swung at it because the pitch before was a low pitch and you called it a strike. So in your mind, that's what you're thinking. And to Elder's credit, he went back with the same pitch.
Fourth strikeout for the Braves righty. That'll bring up Jorge Soler, who was the first strikeout victim. And I think we've got a balk call. So Birdie's going to get second base. I wonder if Lance Barrett saw a little movement.
No step.
No
you heard
step.
him say that's a balk, no step. There wasn't movement. It's just that he just turns and pivots the foot. He doesn't step. It's a good one if you can get away with it.
Shocking that there was no step. The guy from Texas, I figured there'd be at least two.
University of Texas, Bryce Elder.
So now Birdie in scoring position after the balk. The ball to no strikes here on Soler. The ball down and in. Elder, a fifth-round pick in 2020. Made his major league debut last year. That's taken low, 3-0.
You know, we've talked about Jorge Soler, how instrumental he was with the Braves, World Series MVP, but you know, in the 55 games he played with them, he was solid. He had 14 home runs.
And just got under this one. A high fly in the shallow center, and it's Albies to make the call and the catch. Marlins lead one as we enter the fourth inning. 2-0 game. Michael Harris, the second, fouls that one back. Cure those thirsty Thursdays with happy hour at Lone Depot Park this Thursday. Enjoy $3 beers or $8.50 cocktails available from 5 to 6:40 at the Budweiser Bar. Learn more at marlins.com/offers. That's it right there in left center field. 0-2 on Harris. Harris, Ozuna, and Grissom. This one down the left field line and twisting foul. Well, the hope for Sandy is that by wiggling out of the jam, maybe that gets him back on track. He's been throwing a ton of pitches into the mid-60s here with nobody out in the fourth inning, but he gets the strikeout there to start the frame.
Yeah, and he's had base runners. He's had to deal with base runners every inning.
And now a message from Estrella. Fourth strikeout for Alcantara. And here is Ozuna, who singled up the middle his first time up. Takes 98 on the inside black, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, there's a good example right there, that 97, 98 on the inner part. Another good pitch. Looked like it's slider, but not middle of the plate. 97 middle is a lot different than 97 under your hands. Get him to chase right here.
Grounded foul. Look out. That Marlins dugout down there. One, two. Popped up. Stallings makes the catch. The plate umpire Lance Barrett signaling for interference as Ozuna bumped into Stallings, who was still able to make the play.
He had enough time. There's a lot of hang time on that pop fly.
Yes. A home run in a silo.
Yeah.
Bounced up the middle. Birdie cuts it off. Makes the play, and the inning is over. A 1-2-3 frame. First 1% in slash value. Inside Lone Depot Park, Marlins find themselves down 2-0 to the Atlanta Braves. Yuli Gurriel goes after the first one, lofts it into left field. It'll be Rosario to make the play for out number 1. Some news and notes from around Major League Baseball. After 160 days, Bryce Harper is back from Tommy John surgery. Yeah, I don't think he's human either. Alex Verdugo already has 3 walk-off hits this season. It is May 2nd, and Aaron Judge is headed to the 10-day IL for the, can't believe you're saying it though, last place New York Yankees.
Yeah, how about that? And how about Harper? No soft landing in Los Angeles against the tough lefty Julio Urias.
Unbelievable. To first base, and Olsen takes it. So Harper underwent Tommy John surgery, and they originally thought, okay, all-star break. But as it goes, the team and Harper thought the estimate was a little bit conservative. And I guess Harper had circled this series on the schedule for his goal.
Yeah, the other amazing thing is he's not going to be playing rehab games in AAA. He has been hitting, live pitching. They've brought up some minor league players to throw simulated games. He's been doing that, running the bases, actually working a little bit at first base too.
Yeah. Yeah, won't play any right, but could see some time at first base as De La Cruz takes a strike, 1-1. About 3 weeks faster than the previous quickest return, which was Tony Womack in April of 2004 after 182 days.
I'm not changing it, Paul. I'm not changing it. There's been a scoring change, and they've given Riley an error.
Oh, goodness. That's the birdie play you're talking about?
Yes. I'm not changing it.
2-2. And De La Cruz down on strike. So 1-2-3 frame for Elder. 2-0 Atlanta. Set to lead off for Atlanta, then Matt Olson and Austin Riley. Well, Sandy was on the ropes, did give up a run, came in on the double play. Of course, no RBI on that play, but that was the second run. But then got out of that jam, holding Atlanta to just that one. Last inning, 1-2-3, his first of the night, needing just 10 pitches. And a strike inside corner. It's 1-2.
You know, in the game in Atlanta, 5 2/3, gave up 4 hits, just a couple of runs. but had 3 walks in that game.
Called strike 3. Throws in on the slider.
Boy, a couple really good sliders. Those last 2 pitches to Acuna. Tight spin, locks him up. He can't pull the trigger, and Sandy gets the punch out.
Here's Olson, a single and a run scored last time up. Takes that one a little bit high. So Olson now 1 for 15 against Alcantara.
That's kind of been one of the frustrating things, Paul, about Sandy, watching him pitch, because going back and comparing the usage of his pitches last year to this year, fastball, slider, changeup, the same, almost identical. Velocity on the fastball, almost identical. So there's no issue there. So that tells you, that's a good news. That tells you it's not a physical problem. It's more of a mechanical problem.
And if not his best is 5 2/3 and 2 runs, there's a lot of the league that would sign up for that. Approaching 80 pitches with 1 out here in the 5th. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Olson. And missed high. Another full count for Sandy. Here it comes.
I think the Matt Olson, Freddie Freeman transition has worked out all right for both clubs, Dodgers, Braves.
A couple guys now playing for their hometown teams. A couple guys that don't have to worry about how much dinner costs in those cities. And another at bat here where Olson has seen a bunch of pitches. That's already 20 of the 81 that he's seen tonight. 3-2 pitch. Do it again.
And he's fouled off different pitches too. And you also noticed on that chart we showed you, 99 fastballs, 99, so not losing any velocity.
But that one is low for ball 4. Now, a word from the Florida Lottery.
Reveal a world of excitement. Anytime, anywhere. Try these new scratch-offs from the Florida Lottery.
So the first walk of the night for Sandy, but he has issued essentially 3 free passes with the 2 hit by pitches. Pours in a strike to Riley. Ground out and a single tonight. Pops this one up behind short. Birdie drifts back a few steps and makes the catch. 2 away.
You know, I don't think, because he's so cool, calm, and collected out there, I don't think Sandy would ever show it or even talk about it too much, but I'm sure there's a little bit of frustration.
Well, he set such a high bar last year, at least for us. I mean, he's always had those high expectations for himself. But for everyone watching, you almost expect him to be near perfect every time out. That one gets away from Stallings, and Olson will move up 90 feet.
Could be a pass ball, which have been few and far between for Jacob Stallings.
Went a A long time in between, and that could be his second of the year. Straightens up Murphy there, 2-0. Bounced foul. 2 balls and a strike to Murphy. A strikeout and a hit by pitch back in the third. It was, in fact, a pass ball for Jacob Stallings, allowing Olson to get into scoring position. Where with 2 outs this year, the Braves hitting just .208 coming in, second lowest in the National League. Another inning where the pitch count is over 20. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a 2-0 game.
A lot of foul balls, a lot of pitches fouled off. So you have to give the Braves hitters credit.
Yeah, my little tracker here might be a pitch or 2 off. We're looking at 25 or 26 foul balls.
Wow.
Again, a 2-2. Yeah, 26 foul balls. Three-2 is low. So the first 2 walks of the night come here in the 5th inning, and the Braves have 2 on and 2 out, and Rosario at the plate.
And you have to wonder now, with the pitch count at 92, if Sandy gets through this inning, if this is going to be it. 5 innings going to be all for him. And certainly wasn't what we were used to last year. 26 of 32 starts last year, 6 or more innings. "22 times, 7 or more innings.
In a league all by himself last year in innings pitched. Just a handful of guys reaching 200 innings. Sandy got to 228.
Well, and I was looking too with his ERA coming into tonight, this first start in May, his ERA over a little over 5. Last year, his ERA was under 3 every month.
Two on, 2 out. First pitch to Rosario is in there for a strike. Rosario lined out and grounded into a double play that brought home the second Braves run. That's going to get through into right field. Sanchez fields. Here comes the throw from right. Gets all the way through, and it'll be an RBI for Rosario and a 3-0 Braves lead.
Pretty good jump by Matt Olson, who's not a speedster by any means, but got a good jump on a hard hit ball. Well played by Jesus Sanchez in right field. Picks, comes up, fires, throw just a little bit off line, and the Braves get run number 3.
First and third as Murphy went 2 bases on the base hit. Here's Ozzie Albies. There goes Rosario from first. Stallings couldn't handle it. Not sure if he would have made the throw anyway. But a steal nonetheless for Rosario. And the Braves now with 2 in scoring position and 2 outs. Home run and a ground out for Albies, who's ahead 1-0.
Yeah, Albies turned on a fastball back in the 2nd inning for his 8th home run.
call at the bottom of the zone there. 2-1. Slider to even things up. Matt Barnes starting to throw in the Marlins bullpen. Goes to show you how special Sandy has been and will continue to be. He's had complete games with this pitch count, and right now he's trying to battle through 5 innings tonight. Next one will be number 100. Payoff pitch. Another foul ball. And that's the thing, is a third basically of his pitches have been fouled off tonight. So the 20 swings and misses, which was a season high in its last outing against these Braves, hasn't had as much of that tonight. Outside, ball 4. 3 walks in the inning.
Decision time, a tough one.
Mel will march out to the mound and talk with Sandy.
A couple of times we've seen conversations. He's come back and made some good pitches and gotten out of innings. Skip Schumacher hopes that's the case here.
Sandy hates coming out of games. If there's anything he hates more than that, it's coming out mid-inning. So just trying to will himself through this 5th inning. I figure the end is near to his night one way or the other, and just hope it's after he gets Michael Harris and ends this inning.
And no easy task facing last year's Rookie of the Year.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. 0-1.
Yeah, Harris just trying to get back in form. He played the first week of the season and then had some back issues and was placed on the IL.
Came up, he was great. He's already linked or inked, I should say, a 8-year, $72 million deal. So he'll be with the Braves for the foreseeable future. Bounce to first base. Gurriel will take it himself. And after all that, the Braves get only 1. Sandy working through 5.
I was thinking the same thing. Would have loved to have heard Brant Brown right here talking to his hitters. Guarantees talking about Bryce Elder, their approach against him. It's not been good tonight. Elder's given up just the 1, I think 2 hits, but just 1 officially. So a quick meeting in the dugout and hope the offense can turn it around.
Waved at, missed by Jesus Sanchez, leading things off. Segura and Stallings to follow. So yeah, tomorrow during batting practice we will have Brant Brown mic'd up. We'll have a long form conversation with him while he's down around the cage, and we'll have bits and pieces of that clipped off for our pregame show and certainly online and whatnot. So that is bounced towards shortstop, but it's the third baseman Riley making the long throw to get Sanchez.
You know, maybe we can ask Brant tomorrow what was said, if he is inclined to divulge that to us. What was said in that quick little dugout meeting.
Was it the game that we did in the spring where we talked to Brant Brown, or was that it was you and I?
Yeah.
And so I saw him the next day. I think I told you this. I saw him the next day, and I went to go say, hey, thanks for doing that for us. And he saddles up next to me and he says, I heard I killed it yesterday.
Well, he's got a chance to kill it again.
Down and in, and Segura didn't think that was a strike at all, and now it's 0-2.
I had a call earlier to Jazz Chisholm back in the 3rd inning that put him in a hole. Elder's hitting his spots, though. Really working the ball. Good movement on the two-seamer, in and out. Lots of good sliders. They worked the two-seamer in, then went away with a slider. He's one of those comfortable, uncomfortable at bats, if you know what I mean.
Grounded wide at 3rd. And it's that scissor effect that makes it so difficult, right? One pitch is going one way, coming out of that same slot. The other pitch goes the other way. You don't know which is which.
And it's a perfect example of how major leaguers can get hitters out not throwing 98 miles an hour. There's a good two-seamer down and in, slider away.
Ball and 2 strikes on Segura.
A little change up like that every once in a while.
To shortstop, Grissom gets a good hop and makes the play as we check in with Kelly Sacco.
Hey guys, well, winning must be contagious because all the Marlins minor league teams are also over 500. The Jumbo Shrimp 13-12, Blue Wahos 11-10, Sky Carp 14-6, and the Jupiter Hammerheads 12-9. Gotta love to see it.
See them winning at every level, and it also helps when you get to call up some of that depth if you need it. Marlins had to do that today, calling up Xavier Edwards from AAA.
Yeah, there's a fine line in the minor leagues. Obviously, a good part of it is about development, but I think another part of it is developing winners and how to win, and you like to see them go hand in hand.
Ball and a strike to Jacob Stallings. Elder misses low. Stallings tonight 0 for 1, a ground ball to Riley at 3rd. And Stallings grounds to Riley at 3rd again. A little bobble, but time to recover. We'll head to the 6th inning with the Braves in front 3-0. Barnes, Florida Lottery called to the bullpen. So 5 innings of work from Sandy Alcantara. Not the sharpest that he's been, but again, I don't know, it's another one of those nights, T-Hut, where it feels maybe like a 7-0 deficit, but he managed to not give up more than one run in an inning.
Yeah, when you think about the 2 starts against the Braves, the 5 2/3, 2 runs in Atlanta, 5 innings, 3 runs here, not awful, but certainly not what is expected, what we all expect of Sandy.
Ozuna to lead things off.
Matt Barnes had a nice inning on Sunday against the Chicago Cubs last time he worked.
A single off of Sandy, first time up for Ozuna. Takes that knuckle curve for a strike. Yeah, for Barnes, it's been back-to-back scoreless outings after he gave up the 4 earned runs in an inning of work against these Braves last week in Atlanta.
Yeah, in an exchange of veteran pitchers, Matt Barnes from the Red Sox coming here, Richard Blyer going to Boston.
Ozuna lines one just over the leap of Birdie. couple of sharply hit balls off the bat of Ozuna. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Leadoff man is aboard for Atlanta.
Yeah, that part really hurts when you have a guy really struggling. Of course, Ozuna feels comfortable in this ballpark. He's had a lot of success here, 52 career home runs here at Lone Depot, but came into the game hitting .085 and has had a couple of hard hit base hits.
Swing and a miss for Vaughn Grissom, 0-1. Hit by a pitch in the second inning and grounded out in the fourth. Grissom battled for that shortstop job in spring training. Didn't break camp with the club. It was Orlando Arcia that did, but he's been out with an injury, so it opens the door once again for the youngster Grissom, who grounds one foul outside third.
Who had gotten off to a terrific start in AAA. So he was ready. You know, you don't go down there and hope somebody gets hurt, but you have to keep yourself ready, and he was.
Five-game hit streak for him as he waits on an 0-2 pitch. Final line on Sandy, by the way, 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. He walked 3, all in that 5th inning, by the way. Struck out 5. There's a ground ball up the middle. Birdie with the flip to a rise and dug out by Gurriel. It's a 6-4-3 double play, and there are 2 outs.
Talking with John Birdie a little bit today about how he's feeling comfortable at short, and just like anything else, the more you do it, the more comfortable you feel, and he's starting to feel that. Boy, nice little backhand flip and a good turn. That's a second baseman has to make that turn with his back to first base. He gets the flip and then turns and got a nice pick over there from Gurriel.
Top of the order here is Acuna Jr. Takes that curveball inside. Scorched a double to center his first time up, but Sandy worked around that in that first inning. Braves, however, scored their runs in the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th.
And had base runners every inning except the 4th.
Just clipped that outside corner. 2 balls and a strike. Fastball to even it up.
Yeah, had him thinking breaking ball, I think, on that one. Got the fastball by him.
Two and two from Barnes to Acuna Jr. Well, the Braves have been living in full counts today. Barnes deals up and in. A little glare over at Matt Barnes.
Well, an unnecessary glare. If you're going to throw up and in on a guy, it's not going to be on a 3-2 pitch.
Agreed.
Fastball gets away. Certainly doesn't want to walk him. If he'd wanted to put him on, he'd have hit him on pitch number 1 and saved himself 3 or 4. So unnecessary glare.
Runner at first, 2 outs for Matt Olson, and we get a check on Acuna over there. Olson a strikeout his first time up, singled and scored in the 3rd, walked and scored in the 5th. And a strike at the top of the zone. Olson an all-star, a couple of gold gloves to his credit in his 2nd year with the Atlanta Braves. Similar spot, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, he is signed through 2029.
Runner goes in the dirt, and the throw just a little late. And somehow, thanks to that boat oar that he's wearing on his hand, he's able to keep contact with the second base bag.
Now remember, the bases are larger. He's able to hang on. A lot of stolen bases right there between those two guys.
I would say so.
But I love John Birdie. Okay, I got it. I'm going to stay with it. I'm going to keep that tag there because you never know.
See, what Birdie's got to do there, he's got to hook the leg and he's got to wait for the 3 count. That's how you get him. After the stolen base, the 1-2 is a little bit outside. Stolen base number 14 for Ronald Acuna Jr. Tops in Major League Baseball. 3 clear of a few guys, including Jazz Chisholm Jr. Olsen goes down swinging over the top of the knuckle curve. Barnes works around it. We head to the last of the 6th. 3-0 Atlanta. Now Billy the Marlin having a good time out there in center field here at Lone Depot Park as John Birdie takes a first pitch strike from Bryce Elder.
That's why he's gotten a lot of the hitters to chase, because he's been getting that low call. Another borderline strike. Tried it again. His pitch count very manageable.
Next one, number 75, a 1-1 to Birdie. Up the middle, may have clipped the glove, dying right around second base, and Albies either didn't have a grip or didn't have a play. But Birdie is aboard to lead off the 6th.
I'm putting hit, but they might give the pitcher an error. I'm not sure.
Either hit the mound or the glove, I'm not sure.
I think he caught his glove a little bit. And then Albies thought about it, but knows the speed of John Birdie.
A leadoff single for Birdie in the top of the order. Here's Jazz.
Well, you think about it, a long ball gets the Marlins right back in this thing.
Ground out and a strikeout for Jazz. 0-1 pitch is outside.
Elder's been living low, I guess is the best way to put it. I know you like to live high on the hog. Yeah, but if Elder's been living low.
You take a yacht to work one time.
Well, I thought Minervini loaned it to you.
Well. 2 balls and a strike with Birdie on at first. Play Grissom right up the middle. A lot of space left side for Jazz, who grounds it right back to Elder. Grissom turns the double play. A couple of guys that are tough to double up. Great speed with Birdie and Jazz, but it goes 1-6-3. And now a message from Kia.
The all-powerful Kia SUVs assembled in Georgia.
Just know with that sinker slider combination that Elder is going to get a lot of double plays or a lot of ground balls, if nothing else. Coming in with about a 55% ground ball rate.
Well, let's see him counting quickly, but I think 10 outs on the ground. If you count the double play as 2.
You're right, but I checked the box score. Does all the counting for you. See, because I don't trust my counting. Getting to double digits is a little tricky for me.
You had that foul ball thing pretty good, though, a couple innings ago.
See, but again, somebody else was doing the counting. Wasn't me. Two balls and two strikes on Soler. A strikeout and a pop-up tonight.
You know, watching Elder pitch, you can see, he's got a nice, clean, easy effort delivery. He's never been on the injured list, even in his minor league time. So very easy, simple mechanics.
It gets it up there at 91, but registers another strikeout, his 6th. 7th inning coming up.
In NHL history, and of course we've had a front row seat for this one, guys. Luis Ariz, not only is what he's doing so incredible, he did so with a hurt finger and a bruised knee.
It's been impressive what he's been able to do. He's got one of the 2 Marlins hits today. A little score update from Toronto. Panthers a 2-1 lead about midway through the 2nd period, game 1. Stephen Oker takes over. This will be his 6th game of the year. 3rd pitcher for the Marlins tonight. Sandy with the first 5. Matt Barnes the 6th, and now Oker gets Austin Riley, Sean Murphy, and Eddie Rosario in the 7th.
Yeah, Oker appeared in one of the games in the Cubs series. Just a 3rd of an inning, though. Gave up a couple of runs. Had some command issues. Walked 3 in that appearance. But when he's on with that slider and occasional fastball, you can see a lot of sliders from Stephen Oker, whether you're a righty or a lefty.
He's been used a lot since coming back. He made his season debut on the 22nd. Oh, 2 is low. Pitched on the 22nd, 24th, 25th, 27th, 29th.
Yeah, pitched 3 of the games in Atlanta.
But long gone are the days of the loogie, the lefty 1-out guy out of that bullpen with a 3-batter minimum. This one popped up. Be the shortstop Birdie making the call and the catch. The Florida Lottery in-game jackpot as we head into the month of May. The Marlins had a really good month of April. Ended it on a 4-game win streak, tied for the 4th best start in club history at 3 games over 500. 6-3-0 in series, which is the 3rd best in club history through 9 series. Swing and a miss there for Sean Murphy, and really, Hut, what the Marlins are hoping, I know it's last year, but I'm just bringing it up because they played well in April last year. They're hoping for a different month of May this time around. 7-19 last year was their worst month.
Well, you have different managers,
Sure,
different coaching staff, players. So it's, yes, you can give those numbers, but they are about the team. But that was about the team last year.
Sure.
Which is a different makeup this year. I'm sure Skip Schumacher wasn't sitting around today saying, my goodness, that team last year in May.
Murphy chased that one, and it's a strikeout for Oker. 2 away.
That's what he likes to do. He likes to lull guys with that slider, and then every once in a while, just surprise him and go upstairs with a fastball. And this time he surprises Murphy and picks up the strikeout.
Now Eddie Rosario lined out, grounded into a double play that scored a run. No RBI, of course, but did have an RBI in his next at bat as he fouls this one away right side out of play. RBI single in the 5th. But the Marlins schedule in May, of course, the Braves, and then the road trip is Chicago and Arizona. But at least on paper, things kind of lighten up a little bit. Reds, Nationals, Giants, Rockies. They'll play the Angels. So all of that, listen, you have to go out and play the games, and go out and win the games.
Yeah, it's you know, you hear that a lot. Well, the strength of schedule, they're going to play a bunch of teams that are under 500. You know what? You still got to beat them.
Yeah.
And they're still going to come after you.
Two from Okert. Waved at and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts, 2 Ks in the inning. Bottom of the 7th coming up, the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Baptist Health.
Come from behind 1-run win.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we'll take it. 4 wins in this little run for the Marlins, all been 1-run wins. They are 10-0 in 1-run games to start the year. They have had a tough time figuring out Bryce Elder. Gurriel pops this one up, shallow center. Albies going back, and that's the first out.
Yeah, frustrating part too, and you could see a little bit of that, hear a little bit of that with Gurriel. When Elder's made a mistake and gotten a pitch up, guys have missed it. They've just gotten under it, and that was the case right there with Gurriel.
Hits have been hard to come by for the Marlins, but of course not for the guy hitting .440. Luis Arraez, a base hit in the 2nd, one of the 2 Marlins hits in the ball game. Johan Quezada in the Marlins bullpen. Arraez fouls that one away. Single and a ground out to first for a guy who started the day 60 points clear of number 2 in batting average.
You know, the other thing about Luis Arraez, all right, 2 strikes. Average probably with 2 strikes, guys hit 200, maybe below. Luis Arraez hitting 285 with 2 strikes.
He'd be in the conversation for a batting title nowadays just with 2 strikes. But grounds one to first here, and Olsen takes it himself. There are 2 away.
But again, Elder just moving the ball in enough that Luis couldn't get the good extension and got that ground ball to first. So he's been terrific tonight. Bryce Elder moving the ball around, changing speeds.
At 6 2/3, this the 3rd longest outing of his career. Went 9 against the Nationals in September last year and had one other game in which he completed 7 innings. That was against the Marlins. He struck out 10, which is still his career high in strikeouts. It was August 14th. He's gotten De La Cruz a couple of times tonight. You can see just from some of the swings for De La Cruz tonight, he's just been off balance, off kilter lately.
Yeah, last 6 games now, 1 for his last 26. 16 strikeouts. Yeah, Elder finished strong last year for Atlanta. Last 5 starts, his ERA was $1.65.
The way this series shakes out, it'll be Kyle Wright, Braxton Garrett tomorrow. Marlins will see Max Fried on Thursday, but no Morton, no Strider in the series.
Good matchup of lefties on Thursday. Jesus Luzardo and Max Fried.
That'll be a 4:10 first pitch as the Marlins will head to Chicago. 3-day games at Wrigley to start the road trip. 2-2. I'm sure we'll talk about it tomorrow when Braxton's on the hill, but he's been arguably the most consistent Marlins pitcher this year. De La Cruz out to center. That is off the top of the wall, racing towards second, and he gets there and came off the bag. Albies kept the tag on, the momentum, and maybe just the direction of the slide to try to avoid the tag. Took De La Cruz off of second base. Didn't miss a home run by more than a couple of feet, and didn't miss a double by a couple of inches. 8th inning coming up. 2-0 lead as the Marlins go back to the bullpen. Johan Quezada. It's the Florida Lottery call to the bullpen. Quezada pitching in a big league game for the first time since 2020. Pitched in 3 games for the Marlins that year. Originally signed by the Minnesota Twins. Debuted with the Marlins in 2020. A little time in the Phillies and Cardinals organizations before re-signing with Miami in January. Ozzie Albies towards center. Jazz makes the catch for the first out.
Nice inning by Stephen Okert in the 7th. A couple of strikeouts at a 1-2-3 inning, and Quezada has had an opportunity. He was in AA and AAA this year before getting the call to get back to the bigs. It's always a nice call to get.
6'9", 255, bringing it home to Michael Harris II, who had the assist on what's ruled a single for De La Cruz. That he hit .405 right off the top of the wall with an exit velocity of 107, and really not much to show for it. Bouncer up the middle gets through for Harris. Hustling out of the box, going to test the arm, and the throw is wide. So Harris busting it out of the box turns that into a double with 1 out in the 8th.
Plays like that helped him become Rookie of the Year last year. Hits this ball, looks like a base hit up the middle, but he knows you have to factor in a lot of things. Number one, you have to get out of the box in a hurry, which he did. He also knew that Jazz was shading him into left center, so he was going to have a long way to get to that ball, and it's going to be a long way for Sanchez to get to it. And good hustle, good idea on his part.
His second double, and a runner in scoring position for Marcell Ozuna, who has a couple of hard hit line drive singles tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Taken low, 2-1. In the dirt, 3 balls and a strike. Other National League East scores. The Marlins will again head to Chicago after this one. The Cubs are in D.C. tonight. That's a 1-0 Nationals lead, top of the 6th inning. Phillies are out west with the return of Bryce Harper coming up. That's about an hour and a half away. Phillies and Dodgers later on. The Mets rained out, so they'll play a doubleheader in Detroit tomorrow. Inside for ball 4, and the Braves have 2 on with 1 away. Now word from Baptist Health.
Thankfully, Baptist Health is here for moments you don't see coming.
You know, you see a guy like Johan Quezada, and say 6'9", he throws pretty hard, and you wonder why he hasn't had a lot of big league time. And you look back at his minor league numbers, a lot of walks per innings pitched. So that's always been the one thing that has kept him from getting here and staying here.
1-0 to Vaughn Grissom. That's inside now, 2-0. Reminds me a little bit of a guy who was here, what, 5 years ago or so, 4 or 5 years ago. Tyron Guerrero was another one of those tall,
200 miles an hour.
Yeah, just didn't always know where it was headed. Inside, 3 balls and no strikes. At the top of the order, Ronald Acuna Jr. waits on deck. And We're less than a week removed from the Marlins scoring 5 runs in the 9th inning. And as Skip Schumacher has said a lot in the last couple of weeks, within slam range. You want to stay within slam range. Well, the Braves are in slam range right now with the bases loaded. And that's going to bring out Mel. Not the split you're looking for.
Yeah, it wasn't the way they were looking at this inning to shape up either. A base hit, a couple walks, and here comes Acuna. Yeah, I like that. Skip said he'd heard that from managers in the past. Slam range.
So again, you'd love to see a ground ball double play, get out of this inning, give yourself 6 offensive outs to try to make up 3 in a game that, I said it before, I'll say it again, it kind of has that feel of a lot more than a 3-run spread right now.
And a tough guy to double up in Acuna.
Harris, Ozuna, and Grissom third to first. Stallings just a knockdown of ball 1. There are 2 pitchers in the Braves bullpen with Bryce Elder's pitch count at 96, Anderson and Yates. No one up in the Marlins pen. That's in the air, right center. Long way back, Sanchez has room, makes the catch. It'll score 1. And Ozuna moves to third. A sac fly for Acuna Jr. in a 4-0 Braves lead.
You get a guy who pretty much knew he was going to see some fastballs with the control issues that Quesada showed. Got that fastball and launched it.
First and third, 2 out for Matt Olson. Taken low, ball 1. Olson tonight a strikeout in the first inning. Singled and scored in the third, walked and scored in the 5th, and struck out against Matt Barnes in the 6th inning. Marlins pitchers have walked 6 tonight. Ball outside. A couple of walks this inning for Quesada. Sandy, all 3 of his walks came in the 5th. He also hit 2 batters. Olson didn't think that was a strike. Quesada will take it, 2-1.
Yeah, the tough part when you're 6'9" to keep the same delivery. Tough to have a compact delivery all the time. Everything starts flying all over the place.
Three and 1 to Olson. Ozuna at third, Grissom at first. And that is ball 4, so the bases are loaded again. 3rd walk issued this inning.
I know the one thing that's going through Skip's mind, and people are saying, well, why is he still out there? Why is he leaving him in there? You just can't start blowing out your bullpen every night. The Marlins bullpen has thrown more innings than any bullpen in the National League. There are only 3 other teams that have thrown more innings out of the bullpen, and they're in the American League.
Yeah. starters just haven't gotten as deep as they would have hoped. Obviously some injuries along the way. We haven't seen much from Johnny Cueto this year. Trevor Rogers still isn't throwing as he works his way back, and there you have the innings pitched.
And aside from the Rays, the other two teams, Athletics, Red Sox, of course the Rays have a way of doing it. They start the opener and then use a guy for 4 innings. And interesting series, Tampa Bay tonight playing the hot Pittsburgh Pirates, but the Rays with a 4-1 lead in the 7th inning.
Are they playing at the Trop?
They're at the Trop.
That makes sense. I don't think they lost there since Wade Boggs was their third baseman. This will be the 25th pitch for Quezada. 2-2 coming to Austin Riley. So start the merry-go-round with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Again, Yates and former Marlin Nick Anderson warming in the Braves bullpen. Three and 2 is up high for ball 4. 4th walk of the inning, and it forces home the 2nd run of the inning. Braves lead at 5-0.
Yeah, just looking, Paul, as an example tonight in that Rays game, their starting pitcher, I think it was Javi Guerra, went 2/3 of an inning. That was it.
Yeah, so that plays with those numbers.
It does
a little bit.
Josh Fleming came in after that and went 3 1/3.
Sean Murphy takes down and away, and it's 2-0.
See, now you're because of this, the nature of this, Skip is forced to get somebody in that bullpen to warm up. So the bottom line, you need to call up guys that throw strikes. Pretty much.
Nardi starting to get hot in that Marlins bullpen.
Not the only one getting hot.
Two 1. 3 balls and a strike.
See, what happens is that, okay, if he walks another guy, now you're forced to bring in Nardi. And now you have to look at it tomorrow night. Maybe you would want Nardi to come in and face a lefty or two in a situation. So that's the effect that it has.
And that's why teams so often they try to get into bullpens, especially early in series, because it can mess up the game plan going forward. 3 and 2 runners go, and that is down low for ball 4. The 5th walk of the inning. The 3rd walk in a row, and the 2nd walk that brings in a run. It also brings out Skip Schumacher. We'll step aside. A 6-0 Braves lead. Top of the 8th inning. Well, both T-Hut should be fresh.
Well, I tell you what, Braxton was 3 innings, gave up just 1 hit and no runs. He had good stuff, good command, and look forward to seeing him tomorrow night against Kyle Wright, who last year was a 21-game winner.
Andrew Nardi on to pitch. The 5th pitcher tonight for the Marlins, trying to snap the string here. 3 consecutive walks for Quezada, a total of 5. Allowed 3 runs in the inning and still responsible for Olson at third, Riley at second, and Murphy at first. 9th man to the plate this inning for Atlanta.
You know, it's interesting in the ballpark with Rosario playing and Soler in the lineup for the Marlins. Two guys who were extremely key for the Braves in postseason. Soler, the MVP of the World Series. Rosario was the MVP in the Championship Series.
Rosario's been a really good player for Atlanta. Little DH, little outfield. Not meant to be a knock on him. He's got good numbers in his career, but a complimentary player with the studs that they've got around him. Called strike 3. Thought that was wide. May have had a case, but the inning is over. Braves get 3 more and lead at 6-0. Surgery, my man. Good to see you again. Glad to have you back. We have some of the best camera folks and crew members in the sport. We love coming to work and hanging out with these guys. Saw him in the hallway before, thinking to myself, I haven't seen him in a month.
Tim, I did not know. Good to see you. Look better than ever. Way to go.
He's zooming in there on Kirby Yates, his 10th game this year. So Bryce Elder done after 7 innings of scoreless baseball. No walks, 6 strikeouts, and a first pitch strike to Jesus Sanchez. So a lot more work to be done for the Marlins now, trailing 6-0. Sanchez, Segura, and Stallings.
Yeah, I think you just saw a nice clinic of Bryce Elder. He put on a pitching clinic, a Greg Maddux type clinic. How to pitch without throwing 98.
Hit your spots, stay off the barrels. Sanchez a strikeout and a ground out tonight, waiting on a 2-1 from Yates.
Yeah, he'll feature that splitter along with the fastball. Now, I know your head doesn't compute the barrels. Do you have something in front of you that computes barrels? Because the Marlins didn't barrel many balls up tonight.
I'm gonna guess not. I probably would be able to find that. My brain definitely doesn't.
You maybe have it for tomorrow. That's all right. I didn't mean to put that on you right now.
I mean, that was actually exactly what you meant to do, no? Well, here it is. They only had 3 hits and not a lot of exit velos that were over 95. Stallings had a ground out at 99.
The hardest hit ball was De La Cruz's double, I would guess.
Gurriel had a ground out at 108 off the bat, and you were right, that was 107. But there will be no exit velocity on that one as Sanchez strikes out. Suit up this season at MLBshop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic caps, t-shirts, collectibles, and more. Gear up with your Marlins at MLBshop.com. But the point which we're trying to make here is that of Elder missing the barrel so much, and even when he did get squared up, at least in terms of hard contact, boom, right into the ground.
Yeah, we had him at 11 ground ball outs on the ground, so didn't walk anybody.
Walk out to the mound for Sean Murphy and Lance Barrett, who got that foul tip.
always a kind of a nice. I don't know if you could call it a fraternity because, but a nice. I guess I will call it a fraternity.
Yes.
Between the catcher and the umpire.
Right.
Because they know what it's like to get the foul tips. But you're not going to go hang out and have a few beers with them.
No, probably not. No.
That's the only thing.
Of course not. Even if the strike zone was beautiful.
Yeah.
2-1 to Segura. Right on the edge there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fouled straight back. Still 2-2 to Segura. He was 0 for 2 tonight. A couple of ground outs. 1 to first, 1 to third.
Now, we told you at the beginning of the game the dominance this Braves team has had over the Marlins over a number of years. 8 straight years.
Of course, in first place, Atlanta by 3 games over both the Marlins and the Mets. If the score holds, they'll pick up a full game on the Marlins and a half game on the Mets, who are rained out in Detroit. They'll play a doubleheader tomorrow. Three balls, 2 strikes. Do it again.
So in that respect, it's good with the change in schedule this year, because instead of having to play the Braves 19 times, it'll be 13.
But for and again, this is just me raining on the parade, but yes, you're right. So 6 fewer games against Braves, Mets, whatever. And now we've got a pitch clock violation. So Yates trying to get some explanation there. Maybe saw the pitch clock winding down, stepped off, and it'll be a ball 4 pitch clock violation.
So you see the clock. He's ready. So Segura's ready. So there's no violation on the hitter. He steps off a little bit, wastes some more time.
And that's the thing. The clock does not reset. So now,
yeah, I think Murphy's just trying to calm him down right now, because you can see how upset he got when that violation was called on him.
And what I was going to say about the schedule is, yes, they'll have fewer games against the Braves and the Phillies and the Mets and the Nationals, but you pick up games against, let's say, the Orioles or the Yankees or the Twins, the Astros, the Mariners, the Rangers. Picking up those games.
That's okay. That's okay. They're not the Braves.
They're not the Braves. There you go.
And you have to tell yourself, if you're a ball club in the National League East, if you're going to win it, you got to go through the Braves. That's what you have to do.
Ball and a strike to Stallings. Takes one down and in.
Phillies know that. Mets know that.
Strike 2-2. Career high 41 saves for Yates back in his All-Star campaign of 2019. That was with the Padres. The Braves last year and this year, and Stallings couldn't hold up.
the splitter, dives down out of the zone. That's an area that the Braves, I mean, they feel good in a lot of their areas, but their bullpen they feel good about. No question. Yates, A.J. Minter, tough left-hander.
I'll tell you what, T-Hut, while we're on the subject.
Okay.
So this game has bucked the trend of there being more action. This inning, going backwards, strikeout, walk, strikeout. Then the top of the 8th inning ended strikeout, walk, 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 sac fly, walk, walk. So that's been like our last 8-9 batters here, which is why we're talking about schedules. And
well, that's true, and that's why baseball's baseball. You're going to have games like that. You're going to have a pitcher come out of the bullpen and walk 5. I hope not very often, but it's going to happen. He got some action.
There you go.
Right there. He was ready.
Are you pro glove for adults? I don't care.
I don't. Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
Some people are very offended by that.
No, it doesn't bother me at all.
Strike 2 and 2.
He probably uses it in his Sunday softball game.
There you go, exactly. Inside 3 and 2. It'll give Segura a head start at first base.
Softball game.
There you go, exactly. Inside 3 and 2. It'll give Segura a head start at first base. That one kicks away. They check, no swing. The defense continues to rest on its laurels. Another walk.
Former Marlins pitch coach Rick Kranitz now with the Braves. He's going to try to settle down Yates also.
And doing most of the talking out there. All right, here's Jazz. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th inning. Marlins down 6, but if Jazz can put one into orbit, not necessarily thinking home run, but if he can, it certainly makes things a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, Jazz, give us a little action here. He can do that too.
So the Marlins walked 5 in the 8th inning. First time since 2010 that happened. Record Ryan Dempster had 6 walks in a game back in 2001. Jazz pops this one up. Grissom going into shallow left, gives way to Rosario. Marlins leave a couple. And the Marlins trail heading to the 9th. We head to the top of the 9th inning, first of a 3-game series. Braves lead the season series as they took 3 of the 4 games in Atlanta last week. First matchup in this building this year as Ozzie Albies leads things off. Michael Harris the second and Marcell Ozuna to follow. Up against Andrew Nardi, who got the last out of the 8th inning. Albies got the scoring started back in the 2nd, a home run off of Sandy Alcantara. 4th consecutive outing in which Sandy's given up a home run. Sandy went 5 innings tonight, 6 hits, 3 earned, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Fouled away right side, 2-1.
And you have to take a double take when you look at Sandy's ERA. by .09 after his first 6 starts of the year. Sandy's ERA by .09 after his first 6 starts of the year.
Two and two on Albies.
And with Sandy Alcantara, it's not for lack of work in between starts and the time he puts in the weight room, but also the time he puts in the bullpen.
Big turn, and Albies gonna get into second base. Throw got away, but in there safely. So a double to start the 9th inning. That was a fun weekend here at Lone Depot Park, celebrating the Caribbean Series that's coming up in 2024. And just found out that Curacao and Nicaragua named the 2 invited countries to join the Dominican Republic, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and Venezuela as the Caribbean Series returns to Lone Depot Park. Great atmosphere during the World Baseball Classic, figures to be the same as that is going to be a line drive double play. Albies thought that might have snuck through, and a little slow to get back to the bag. Birdie makes the catch and steps on the bag, so a 6 unassisted double play.
Yeah, good heads up. You got to keep your concentration. If you're John Birdie, you got to catch the ball as you're headed to the bag, and you know if you can beat Albies, you'll get the double play. Good job.
Ozuna takes outside. So yeah, WBC obviously had a great atmosphere for the 2 or so weeks of that, and the Caribbean Series should be just the same. Ball and 2 strikes. Marlins have now turned 3 double plays tonight, so that's 9 in the last 4 games. Clears the deck for Ozuna, who takes a ball up high. 2 and 2. Called strike 3. Ozuna thought it was low. That's been the zone tonight. Bottom. Welcome back. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Last licks for the Marlins, down 6-0. Atlanta Braves go back to the bullpen. Joe Jimenez takes over. This will be his 11th game. A good start from Bryce Elder. 7 scoreless innings, no walks and 6 Ks. Kirby Yates had to battle a little bit. Couple of walks, couple of strikeouts, and a scoreless 8th. But the Marlins, who kept it close, 3-0 going into that 8th inning, and then somewhat disastrous 8th inning where 3 runs came in. So a little work to do. Tomorrow, Kyle Wright and Braxton Garrett. Our coverage starts at 6 on Valley Sports Florida. Middle game of a 3-game set. It's been fun watching Braxton Garrett work this year.
Yes, you took the words out of my mouth. I enjoy watching him pitch, because he too, as we saw, Elder is not a guy who's going to blow you away with 96, 97 mile an hour fastballs. He works the quadrants, in and out, up and down.
Ground ball to short, scooped up by Grissom, and that's the first out.
Yeah, it's tough, and it's certainly not an excuse. But when you get on a nice little run, a 4-game win streak, sometimes you don't want an off day.
Yeah.
And you have the off day, and that's, not to say that's why, but there are guys that'll say, you get going, you want to keep going.
Marlins won the last game in Atlanta after that lengthy rain delay. The great 9th inning comeback. Their first sweep of the year, taking all 3 from the Cubs. The off day yesterday, and give credit to Bryce Elder on the bump tonight, slowing down the Marlins bats.
Cubs went into Washington. They won last night. They're trailing 4-1 right now.
Gurriel line drive left field, and that one gets stuck in the padding. The lights are going off, but that's stuck in the wall, and it'll be a double. I think it tricked the in-house entertainment folks. Rosario digs it out and flips a souvenir.
A slider out over the plate. Good job by Gurriel. Now watch this ball as Rosario turns around. There it is, hits the top and then gets stuck. Kind of like the ivy in Chicago. You'll be dealing with that next week.
That's right.
So you're always told as an outfielder when it does that in Chicago, hold your hands up.
Light started to flicker, but a double. And now the major league debut of Xavier Edwards. One of the Marlins' top prospects. They went out and got him from the Tampa Bay Rays this offseason. Swing and a miss. Really good numbers for him at AAA to start the 2023 campaign out of Wellington, Florida. North Broward Prep in Coconut Creek.
Yeah, he's a switch hitter. Versatile player.
And this one toward left center. It's going to hang up for Rosario. And the major league veteran Xavier Edwards is 0 for 1.
Yeah. Congratulations. Absolutely. Boy, you get that first one out of the way. Like the 33-year-old with the Pirates.
Drew Maggi. Yeah.
Last week. After 13 years.
Brian De La Cruz takes a low strike. When you're going through it like this, it feels like it's always 0-2.
I was just thinking about it. You could, in this day and age, under these rules, you could literally step in the box and it could be 0-2 without seeing a pitch.
That is absolutely true.
If you took your time a little too much.
And is that what actually what happened to Maggi in his first at bat? I think it was, because he got this huge ovation, which you have to clear with the league if you think a guy might get a big ovation.
How could the Pirates not have cleared that with the league?
I don't know.
Shame on them.
Swung on and missed for strike 3, and the Marlins are shut out 6-0. So for the 3rd time this year and the 2nd time by Atlanta, the Marlins are held scoreless as the 4-game win streak comes to an end. 6-0 Atlanta in Game 1 as we send it down to Kelly Sacco.
Thanks, Paul. We're coming up on the Marlins Live postgame show presented by FPL. We take a closer look at just why they were shut out, and that was because of Bryce Elder in the game that he tossed. We see what's going on with Sandy Alcantara, and we're to hear more from